All right, we are live for a Wednesday edition of the People's Talk Show. Hope everyone is doing well and looking forward to connecting. It seems like it's been a minute. It has been a minute, but nevertheless, things are still progressing forward. And good thing Powell, encouraged us today that the banking system is sound and resilient and all that good stuff. So we're going to try to have some fun this evening. Hope everyone's doing well. As always, want to welcome everybody to the community. If you got any first time visitors, definitely let me know where you're watching from in the chat. And I'll do my best to just get through as many headlines as I can, share my 2 cents on things, just scan through the headlines, filter through what's hot, what's not. And of course, right here over my shoulder, this little silver thing right here is doing quite well these days. The actual US dollar, this thing right here, it is very resilient to say the least. But anyway, hope everyone is doing well. Let me see here. I want to make sure the algorithms are kicking in because wasn't notified that I was going live, and I'm trying to watch myself. And so we'll see how things play out. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. It won't be too long. I just want to check in, say what's up, see how everybody's doing, find out what's new in your neck of the woods. What are you guys keeping an eye on? And of course, what a convenient act that what's happening with Russia, alleged attempt on Putin's life, and it just never ending drama, man. Anyway, okay, welcome. If you haven't, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button. Hopefully that helps notify more people. Hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Let me know if my audio is good. Let me know if the visuals is good, and we can jump right in, man. It's going to be a very interesting or very entertaining. That's too happy go lucky. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of days, head into the weekend, as well as the month of May, and definitely heading into June. Boy, it's going to be something else. All right. Let me see. We got Truth Hurts checking in. We got Faith Parent. We got Stock Up on Food. We got Brian B. We got Unclarable, Inclarabi. I'm butchering that, but forgive me. We got Rolf, Steve checking in. We got Carlos, fair amount of people. Keenan, how you doing, my friend? Yeah. PacWest is next on the chopping blocks. And so as of right now, no doubt, they're on the phone. They got a Zoom going on. They're trying to figure out how to make sure that come tomorrow morning, some type of resolution is done, whether or not FDIC steps in or JP Morgan just swallows up another bank, just like he did First Republic. So anyway, man, yeah, it's just, and regardless of all the things happening right now, I don't have a sense of like, oh my God, I don't have that type of feeling just because I've been talking about this for so long. It's like, I'm not numb to it, but it's like, I've been attempting to do as much as I can to limit my risk in the financial system as best I can. Can't completely do it because you still got to, spend and pay bills and earn and stuff like that. But I always remind myself that if the banking sector or my bank or whatever goes down, you know, will that completely ruin me, or will that ultimately, like, make things very difficult, but it wouldn't be the end of me and mine, just because being aware of these events for quite some time now. It's taking small steps of removing cash so you got something on the side. And of course, as of right now, we're witnessing the Federal Reserve note is not really all that it's not all that necessarily welcomed anymore around the world outright. But then again, it's ultimately only good for spending and speculating, because saving it in the long run, it's going to come up on a short end enough stick. So, all right. So let me just jump right in, man. Let me jump right in. All right. Let me go. Let's keep this show moving. Okay. So let me see where I want to start off at. Man, got so much to get through, but I don't want to miss anything. All right. So what I want to do is basically just start off with just the obvious. Everybody's tuning here now. You guys are keeping up to speed on what's going on. So nobody here is going to be surprised by anything. But despite all of the cuckoo-ness out here in the banking sector, don't forget. Let me just bring this up real quick. If my page refreshes fast enough, I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh man, this is different. So for whatever reason, I'm trying to refresh my page just to put a little bit of hope out there. But I'll just share this real quick. Trying to refresh my page, and unfortunately, from what I'm seeing here, it's not loading. So I wonder why. Yeah, but anyway, let me get this right. Okay, so let me just keep moving right along. All right, so let's jump right in, man. Let's see where we're at. But before I do that, let me just share with you a couple things that caught my attention. Paying attention to some of the financial experts or gurus or whatever you want to call them out there. Just because it's one thing to hear from a guy on YouTube from Detroit. No, I'm not an accredited investor, or I'm not a, financial advisor. I'm not running a $1 million hedge fund or $1 billion hedge fund. I'm just a guy who just interviews a lot of people, reads a lot of books, and travel the world a little bit, realizing that we're all in the same game. But let's look at Peter Schiff real quick. So this is Peter Schiff about 2 hours ago, real quick. Says earlier today, Powell said, quote, conditions in the banking sector had broadly improved, unquote, and that, quote, the banking system is sound and resilient. Later that day, shares of PacWest Bank crashed 60% and shares of Western Alliance tanked 30%. So we got two banks up. As I mentioned from the video, I did a quick take. We got Western Alliance and PacWest are on the chopping blocks. They're up next. And we'll see what happens. The biggest thing is just keeping an eye on these things, realizing that they're all in the same boat. They're all insolvent at the end of the day. And this is the bigger scheme of this is a global consolidation of power to a small, globally systemic important bank. So PacWest and Western Alliance, they're expendable. It says, as they are the next two banks likely to fail. All right, keep it moving real quick. So this is from Kabesi letter. It's a pretty prominent capital global market type of newsletter. And this came out from them after the markets closed. It says regional bank stocks are crashing at the hours of PacWest. Says that they are looking for a buyer. Okay, who's going to buy an insolvent bank other than a globally systemic important bank, because they don't want to risk exposure to the unwinding of all those derivatives and all that non-performing liabilities that they have on their balance sheet. So yeah, and then of course, like just with First Republic, the FDIC or backstopping and reassure some things and all that other stuff. But anyway, it says PacWest down 57, Western Airlines down 30. And then we got Metropolitan Bank now down 20%. So this is after hours. So it might have changed. It might be worse. But it says 2 hours ago, the Fed said the system is strong. So this is fairly well known. This is 288,000 followers. So they're a pretty prominent newsletter. Speaking truth there. And then here we go. Jeff Snyder, Mr. Snyder, the Eurodollar man himself. He says the FOMC's statement claimed that the U.S. banking system is sound and resilient. He says right now in the early hours sessions, the whole world is furiously hedging for how wrong that is, plus 20 basis point swings in many key contracts. So he's referring to the 3-month SOFR futures quotes is what he tweeted out about an hour ago. So things are really happening behind the scenes right now. And of course, as he's mentioning here, people are positioning themselves for that. Keep it moving. Here we have Mr. Edward Dowd. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Edward Dowd. He's been very vocal in reference to the whole health situation, as well as his background with BlackRock and everything else. But he says, check. Banks failing with speed, check. Title 42 invasion at the border coming in 9 days, check. And it says Kremlin drone bombed by someone, check. Shock and awe potential is very high. Meanwhile, the health participation damage grinds through the population and in the background. He said that is reality as we see it, as I see it. So, all right. And then the last one here. This is Leslie Picker from the mainstream news sources, but she says confirmed there's a process in place for PacWest. Has been tapped to advise PacWest and whatever. So, and basically she says she's told that the FDIC is not involved as of now. Okay. Sweet and simple. So let's get into some of the nitty gritty based upon what's coming out from Zero Hedge. A lot of interesting things here. We all know that the banks are cratering one by one, but of course, starts off talking about Jerome Powell and his speech. As soon as he opened up and talked about the strength and the health of the banks, I just zoned out. I'm like, oh, dude, this dude, he's panicking. He's nervous because think about this. He has to go on national television and inform the world about something that everybody in their right mind who knows what's really going on can feel. You can sense it, especially if you're in a board or on one of these executive boards where you're in the banking sector. They're scrambling right now. They're trying to talk and cover this up because if it's not PacWest or Western Alliance right now, it's going to be that next bank tomorrow or the day after that. And speaking of which, real quick, let me check. My bank charts to see where we got where these banks fall in at. It's been a minute. Let me see. Here. Just checking real quick. So as of right now, at first glance, Pac is not on my list here. So Western Alliance Bank is number 39. Western Alliance Bank is number 39 on the top 50 banks in our country with 67 billion under management. And let me see if I can find Western Alliance, see if they're on here. They may not have made the cut. So Western Alliance, as of right now, is not on here. But Bank of the West, yeah. So, but anyway, they're all interconnected. So they're all talking. They're scrambling. Okay, keep it moving. All right, so let's get back to the nitty gritty. So just thumb through here, man. Here's just some more interesting highlights as to the severity of what's going on. And I thought this little, let me click on this so you guys can see it, make it bigger. But this is from Zero Hedge, talking about just the overall size of what's going on. So as you guys see on the screen here, let me move this out the way. It says, Powell, U.S. banking system is sound and resilient. Narrator that says, we just had over $500 billion in bank failures in the past month. So the last three basically equates to the total size of the current banks, three of the biggest banks in recent history in comparison to the great financial crisis. So as you can see the size of the bubbles here. So we just got three banks here, but during the great financial crisis, the entire banking sector was exposed to, as it says here, Washington Mutual and IndyMac Bank. Of course, they are no longer in existence. They were consolidated, bought off by JP Morgan. We know what's going on there. But then again, majority of these banks here were forced to take part in the TARP bailout program just because they didn't want to isolate and single out the key banks that were the problem. So everybody had a chance to dip and dab in that. But as of right now, just three. And we're just getting started. It's still early. Okay, keeping it moving. Lots of juice here, but I'll let you guys know. So here we got just what it looks like on the charts. You know, we got SVB a couple weeks ago. Now we got FRC, First Republic right here. Now on stop. Then we got the regional bank index is tumbling after hours, now at its lowest since October 2020. And so 2020 was a very interesting year. Everybody knows what's going on with that one, but we're back at those metrics now. And regional banking index is not looking pretty, man. Okay, keep it moving. So now we have all that activity out the way. First Republic has been basically bought off. Now we have PacWest, Western Alliance, and the Metropolitan Bank, according to that source there, of banks that are next. So the dominoes are falling. Momentum is picking up. Velocity is picking up. And so even when Powell was talking today, he didn't seem too confident in his delivery of trying to lie. Because, you know, it's obvious now somebody's lying. We know what's really going on. And of course, everybody tuned in here, you guys know what's going on. But it's unfortunate, man, that a lot of people, majority of the people out there have no clue what's going on still. And it's just what troubles me most is that no matter what commentator is talking about what's happening in real time, your average Joe still just out there on their own, man, sleep at the wheel. And I feel for those individuals because those are the ones that will be the casualties of this entire banking collision when it comes down. But here's my chart. It looks like a refresh. So despite all the banking sector, we had gold today. Gold today. I'm not sure on which chart, but as of here, I saw something that on one of the charts, it hit 2,080. Let me see if this shows on this one. So as of, let me go back here. Give me 1 second. Let me try to get a more up to date. So we go 6 hours and see. So as of today, at its peak, gold got up to $2,061, which is a couple dollars shy of an all-time high, according to this chart here. But then again, depending on what other metrics, you know, charts the price of gold, it reached, all-time high. And so we will see how this goes. But then again, silver, its little brother is doing pretty well. It's you know, basically just a reflection of how bad the Federal Reserve Note is doing. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Okay, keep it moving. What else we got here? So on top of that, while all this banking stuff is happening within the U.S., how is it that all of a sudden, let me go right here. How is it that all of a sudden Zelensky denies Ukraine sent drones to hit Putin? So if Zelensky didn't do it, who did it? Rhetorical question. We all know. Which three-letter agency in collaboration with some military force of some kind decided to send up a a drone in that area. It was, I mean, I didn't dive into the story much, but just when I saw this as a result of all this banking stuff, I'm like, how convenient that what better time to distract the world other than to really instigate and try to provoke the world into war to cover up for what's happening in the banking sector. So interesting, but I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts on that. And then here is a follow-up piece that I saw that I definitely had to mention. It says breaking. Former Russian president says Putin has no choice but to annihilate Zelensky after the drone attack. And so this comes from Dmitry Medvedev, a former Russian president under Putin, wrote on a social media. It says, after today's terrorist attack, there are no options left other than physical elimination of Zelensky and his clique. And so, yeah, that's just more of the war drums beating. Shouldn't surprise anybody here. All right, next one here. Here's just a little headline caught my attention. Let me get myself out of the way so you guys can see it. It says, busted banks wipes out 54 billion of stocks, bonds during turmoil. And yeah, man, First Republic, Signature Bank, Silvergate, SVB. Yeah, just look at this. Shoot, man. People were actually invested in those entities, thinking that holding those stocks as well as investing in those debt obligations, aka bonds, they'd be putting out there, that people were going to get made whole, whether as a result of this or down the line as a part of their investment portfolio. Yeah, think again, people. Anyway, keep it moving. And so, if the current escalation, possibility of war, and the current banking turmoil isn't enough, the de-dollarization process doesn't stop, people. It's not stopping because alternatives have been chosen, which is what? Just use your own damn currency. South Korea, Indonesia central banks agreed to promote local currency transactions. Oh, anybody surprised? Not at all. Okay, keep it moving. And what better way to really stick it to the people who are banking on and depending on crypto? If I can get this up here. Biden proposes a 30% climate change tax on cryptocurrency mining. So it should read, Biden proposes 30% climate change tax on proof of work or primary target Bitcoin. So this goes to that proof of work, proof of stake war that I was talking about last year, saying that it's quite obvious that once Ethereum converted to proof of stake, there was going to be a dividing line where the government was going to go after proof of work just because it's one of those things where they can't solely control it and it's getting too much attention, serving as a competition to the dollar. Why not just try to put pressure on it to make the mining sector become, I guess, unprofitable so that they'll shut off miners and the technology go to other places and yada, yada, yada. But it's quite obvious. Ethereum is the banker's coin and proof of work is a hindrance to the government just because it's something they can't control outright. With proof of stake, you can control it just by holding majority of the coins, which Jamie Dimon and his crew, they own a good chunk of Ethereum. So once all the world's financial structures is possibly shifted over to there, it'll be easy to control that because they got the most coins. They got the most staked coins. And of course, my opinion, Ripple won't be no different. You know, it's all the same protocol in a sense. They're all working with, the World Economic Forum. So anyway, okay, people, enough of me ranting. Let's open the phone lines. I want to hear from you guys. What are you keeping an eye on? Mind you, there's enough topics to keep us on here forever, but we can't do that. But I want to hear from you guys. So let me know what's on your radar. If you got any thoughts or whatever, let me know. Let me have it. Keep it short, sweet, to the point, and we can try to make something work and go from there. So let me get my phone going. Should have been prepared, but I wasn't. But here we go. All right. So yeah, phone lines are available. If anybody want to call in, share your 2 cents, please do so. Definitely would love to hear from you guys. Or throw out some thoughts or ideas in the chat, and we'll touch on that. Also, with the RTD quick takes, I'm having fun just being able to condense thoughts and just deliver it short, concise, straight to the point, no fluff, no filler words, trying to work on my speaking. And so let me know what you guys think about that. I really enjoy doing those. So I'm going to try to do more of those because I can cover more topics in a timely manner rather than with these, I go on and I go, just basically read the headlines of each story, not able to really dive too deep into it because it takes too long. So, but anyway, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. All right, let's see what we can do here. Give me 1 second. All right. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Hey, Mike, how's it going? This is Charles out of Atlanta.
Charles out of Atlanta. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing much. Two things. One, today, I think it was Coin. Yeah, I can't remember the exact one. I think it's Coin Telegraph.
Yeah.
It dropped another article basically stating how Powell was being pressured to mint that $1 trillion platinum coin again, which is very interesting. So
okay,
they're trying to use platinum to kind of suppress gold and silver again to get it out the way, because very few people have platinum. A lot of people have gold and silver.
Yeah.
And also, to me, I think it's kind of a way to get rid of gas-powered vehicles completely, because all catalytic converters and gas cars have to have platinum in them.
So okay, so I'm familiar with that idea of to float on a platinum coin, but it's once again, okay, other than that one particular coin that will be statutory, it's going to be law enforced, whatever. That one coin will be worth $1 trillion. But then again, at this current moment, with the world backing away from, the U.S. in general and all their liabilities and promises, who in their right mind is still going to actually consider that to be valid? Why not? They're only going to speed up the need to get rid of U.S. debt, because as a result of that coin, the Fed's going to hold that coin, and then they're going to issue buku trillions as a result of that. So the world don't want to be stuck holding dollars on the other end of that, knowing that the monetary base will increase. So this probably is the wrong time to try to mint a $1 trillion coin, knowing the world's already getting away from the derivative of that, which is the Federal Reserve notes. So it'll probably work for a minute if it goes, but it's definitely going to be problematic for the economy.
It's just a sign of desperation, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. It's stupidity. It's stupidity overall, just because once again it doesn't solve anything. It just continues to create more currency, put it into the system. So it'll hit us a lot harder, a lot faster, I think, because once again, if you're holding on to 100 millions or billions or whatever on the other side of the water, and they're over here minting $1 trillion coins, how would that not incentivize you to speed up your desire to get rid of those liabilities while you still can? So just like the Russian sanctions. Oh yeah, Russia's really hurting. Okay. Yeah, man. So with the whole platinum situation, I haven't dived too deep into it now. With that coin being mint, if it was to be minted and it was to be used as a $1 trillion face value coin, with platinum in general, as you mentioned with the catalytic converters and stuff like that, how would they address that? Because I assume platinum price would go through the roof.
Well, yeah, I mean, remember, so with Saudi Arabia basically telling America we're going to start using multiple currencies to accept oil. Mm-hmm. That's kind of America's way of thumbing their nose about, okay, well, we're going to just take the entire country off oil by making it too expensive to even produce gas-powered vehicles, because the number one thing to keep a gas-powered vehicle clean is a catalytic converter. And rhodium, iridium, and platinum are the three main ingredients in it, on top of a couple of their precious metals as well, too. Platinum is the main one.
Right.
And, catalytic converter right now is already expensive, but you take the, I did the math, and I think a gram would be right around $200,000 a gram, or maybe $200 million a gram per platinum if it went to $1 trillion for that coin, which is insane. So it just wouldn't be economically viable for any company ever to make a gas powered vehicle.
Right. Now, the coin price of 1 trillion, well, I don't think the actual, because the platinum market is not as regulated and suppressed with the futures contracts as gold and silver are. So I don't think platinum price would have anything to do with that $1 trillion coin. Like, I think that's where the confusion would come into play, because the free market, of course, would boost the price up, but it ain't going no damn 200,000 for a gram, as if that 1 trillion is the actual spot price. It's not the spot price of platinum to base that number on. So platinum will shoot up, but I don't think it's going to go up towards that trillion, because that trillion is a whole other ballpark. That's just a coin that's going to be in the Federal Reserve's balance sheet as 1 trillion on the liability side, on the asset side. And then on the liabilities, there's going to be some digits and some screen. The government's account for $1 trillion. So I don't think that's going to be reflected in the spot price of platinum. It's going to go up though, but not that much.
It'd be great days. And one last thing,
yeah.
I went to a jewelry store 2 weeks ago, trying to find some silver.
Mm-hmm.
You got jewelry stores right now selling Canadian maples for $75 a pop.
How much?
1 ounce coins.
How much?
$75. $75.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
So did they have any Eagles? What was, did they have Eagles? They sold out of the Eagles.
They had no Eagles. The only thing they had was Canadian Maples, and they had some what's the Australian Cougarans.
Yeah.
It was African Australian. They had the Cougarans and they had the Canadian Maples. That's all they had.
Whew. So did you get your weight up, or you decide to pause on that?
No, I bought 3 of them.
Okay.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I went on Facebook Marketplace. If you anybody go on Facebook Marketplace right now, you'll find excellent deals on silver.
Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. The bootleg industry is booming right now.
Absolutely.
I will be very cautious unless you know how to test and all that stuff like that, man. Because because it's a high demand, bootleggers and the Chinese, the Chinese sending flocks of fake silver over gold over here, man. I have a lot of tungsten stuff out here, but yeah, that's where like a lot of people are about to be taken for a fool, depending on how they go about getting their weight up. So it's probably never been more important to be cautious right now, though. But if you've got some deals, go ahead. But yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable telling people, it's just, man, I would hate to somebody say, Mike, man, I got robbed. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying to go buy from anybody. I actually bought from a jewelry store that advertised on there. He bought this from. It's actually bought from a jewelry store to receipt.
Okay.
He bought them from a state auction. Someone had over 1,000 ounces of American easels that they just sold off in the state.
Really?
And I got them for $37. Yeah, I got them for $37 an ounce. Which wasn't too bad in my opinion. Way less than $75, and I kind of kicked myself now because I could have got twice as many. That's the point of the story right there.
Good
but
stuff.
I got it from a jewelry store. It was a legit jewelry store that actually advertised on Facebook Marketplace, and he bought them from an estate sale, and I got a receipt for him. Everything was certified. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. There's a lot of fly-by-night guys out there trying to sell like grams and stuff like that. For $2 a gram. Like, come on, who's selling $2 a gram? For silver?
Right. Well, hey, man, appreciate you calling, my friend. Thanks for keeping us up to date on what's happening down in your neck of the woods, man. Thanks.
No problem. Have a good one. Thank you.
Be good.
All right.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, it's just man, like, it's going to be a lot of shysters out there, boy. What better time to hit a lick, as they say, than right now when people might be, trying to be cautious of price. You get a good deal over here for, if anything, it sounds too good to be true. This is something you might really, really want to question. So, all right, what else is going on out here? Anything else happening out here? So we got what else? What else is coming up? What's popping? The Fed interest rate hike. I mean, it's just whatever. I don't really pay attention to that. I mean, it's not like, it's just not really worth paying attention to. Just focus on things that are immediate and direct, can impact you directly. Of course, that's the banking sector, and of course, the precious metal sector. And as always, I'm seeing even in the Telegram, I saw some people posting stuff about a lot of the agencies, arming up, getting armed up. Like it's going to be some type of event or some type of response to an event where all these, three-letter agencies and police forces, we all know 4 or 5 years ago, and they bought up all the ammunition and all the, prep, the food preps and stuff like that. And it's probably in a warehouse or in a bunker underground somewhere in the mountains for some God forbidden event down the line. But that's just something also that's just very probable because they obviously know that all these banks are going to end up leading to something. They can't prop up everything or kick the can down the road forever. And so it's either going to be a war directly with Russia as a result of this alleged, assassination or whatever they call it, or something's going to come crashing out, or there's going to be something completely out the blue, some type of black swan event we didn't see, and people are going to be pissed. And I'll say, like I said earlier in our RTD quest, like what do you think is going to happen when people realize that what they thought was theirs is not even available to them? Like people don't realize that once you put funds in the bank, you are the debtor. It's not yours. Like literally, it's not yours. You've lent it to them. So they got every right to do what they want to do with it because that's how things have always gone. So when people realize that, I think a lot of people are going to be pissed. And yeah, the streets will not be too friendly. Rolf says IRS needs to up its collection. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get a call. Here we go. If I can get you on here. Hello, caller. Where are we calling from? Steve, what's going on, my friend? Give me some good news.
Hey, just wanted to touch on since you emailed there, Mike Adams.
Yeah.
talking about the coming up soon with the AI and robotics. That basically 50% of humans will be obsolete due to the technology coming up fairly soon.
Yeah. That's yeah. Let me see. Let me put it on the screen here. And put it on the screen here. Yeah, it says half the human population will be obsolete in just 10 years. Here's how to survive the global what's this, a termination agenda. Make sure I got that right. I mean, yeah, man. Like that's one of the things where, yeah, and then the other video you sent about the thermal scans and how
correct.
a lot of people I saw that earlier. Somebody posted that in the Telegram chat, and so I watched that. But how the physician, they can scan your body and see where there's been accumulation of those things or whatever it is in those injections that are clotting people up, and they don't even know about it yet. That's the bad part. That's why so many people are dropping right now, just out the blue. Like you have no symptoms, no nothing, just hit you. Unfortunate. Whew.
Correct. No doubt about it. And that's why I haven't been calling so much. Basically, you're catching the videos coming through. So I was like, yeah, you're doing a good job doing that. So there's no need for me to call too much. But I certainly did want to bring up the. I guess this AI stuff is progressing a lot faster than what they thought.
Yeah. Or watch this. Or the version of machine learning, aka artificial intelligence, that they've given us is the opening for the narrative of it's getting out of control. Like it's no doubt in my mind that it's way more advanced on their end. They haven't released it to the public. What the real version, like Chat GPT 4 is what they've been allowed to release, but they already probably sitting on Chat GPT 10 already, because this stuff was a part of the plan 10, 20, 30 years ago. So the technology, of course, has been available for a lot longer, just like robotics. Like the stuff we're seeing is just a version 1 of it. So the fact that all these people are talking about AI, what they already hit, what they're sitting on, in my opinion, is probably a lot worse than what the version we're getting. They just laying out narrative right now saying that we need to be cautious and take it slow. Yeah, okay. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. They're further ahead than what they're letting on to. But your jobs and stuff down the road, it's gonna get pretty hairy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, that's all I got for tonight.
Yeah.
And,
appreciate you, man.
I'll get off the phone and continue to listen.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, take care, bro.
Yep. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from?
Mike, calling from Oakland. How you doing, brother?
TB, doing good, my friend. What's on your mind?
Sorry, I'm on the bat phone, man. You had mentioned in your last few articles or the last few quick takes you did about how that countries are having a hard time getting dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they need the dollars?
I think we've already touched on this, haven't we?
No, man.
I mean, they have obligations. Everything is denominated in dollars. So if your bills is due in dollars, what you gonna do? You're gonna have to do something to get dollars to pay your bills. So if everything is priced in dollars,
you know how big that market is?
It's $2 quadrillion at least because of the derivatives.
How do you pay that off, though? How do you pay that off if you can't get dollars?
You either sell some stuff to get dollars, or you begin working on the backdoor channels of creating those currency swaps and stuff, so that eventually you probably going to default, just like the U.S. going to default. So
it has to be paid in dollars. So you can do back channel all you want, but eventually somebody's going to have to come up with those dollars in order to pay that dollar bill.
Right.
So you got $4 quadrillion. Do you ever get that paid off? These countries are doing dollar swaps with each other and talk about. There is nobody actually doing it. Everybody's talking about it and
doing what?
My opinion. This is only my opinion, and you can look into it and see if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could see them doing that is to keep the dollar low. They're jawboning the dollar lower by saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the dollar probably be what. If you look at the dollar to Dixie, look how strong that thing is. It hadn't even budged off of 101, 102.
Yeah,
that's a strong dollar.
Yeah,
and everybody keeps talking like, "Well, we're going to divest. You can't divest $3-4 quadrillion.
Yeah,
so you're jawboning the dollar down.
Which is definitely
I think it's happening.
Which is a possibility. It's, it's one of them things where we won't find out until. But I like to be able to explore a variety of school of thoughts, just because what we're being told and what's really happening, we won't know until it actually comes about on the surface. But I wouldn't be doubt that all these countries are meeting and collaborating on talking about using their own local currencies just to bluff the dollar down as the primary reason they're doing it. So I'd imagine they're not talking about alternatives in a BRICS currency just because they're not, they ain't got nothing better to do. So I would say what you saying is true, and on top of what they would like to see is happen as well, I would say it's probably 3 or 4 things out there that we can probably all touch on.
Right, and one of the things is they don't have the dollar. That's why you divested from the dollar.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so
just it's
time.
time.
You divest in someone else's currency, like China, the Yuan. You divest in your currency, and Yuan, they give you Yuan and dollars. You swap Yuan for dollars, and now you got dollars.
Which is a possibility. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to say the least how all this unfolds. But I'm just not I'm not confident in the Federal Reserve system the way it's structured beyond this decade. And so there's going to be some changes. I don't know how, what, where. We know Fed now, of course, is a part of their plans, but we'll see how it plays out. But, cash still spends. So I'm going to still spend it. I'm going to still, get it and enjoy it. But everything has an expiration date on it, my friend.
Then too, they never said they're not accepting dollars. They just said they're divesting from the dollar.
Right.
They didn't say they aren't accepting dollars. So, it sounds to me like you'll accept all the dollars you can get, but in your trade, you trying to stay away from the dollar or get more dollars into your country.
Right.
That's the way I read between the lines.
I look at it as them trying to begin the process of minimizing the need for as much, minimizing the need for as many dollars as they've had in the past by bringing in an alternative such as this bilateral currency agreements or whatever. So they'll have some options.
That's not an option.
It is an option.
That's desperation.
I mean, okay, that's good enough. That's good enough because so their currencies can get some usage outside of them having to do everything in another nation's currency. So if you got 2 options,
but you go further in debt that way.
I really don't think they're concerned with debt at this current moment. So that's what they're running from, and the primary debt they're running from is USD debt. So even though their currency is
I'll give you an example. Compare the Yuan to the Indian rupee, and tell me that the rupee isn't going in debt by getting Yuan. That's a no-brainer. That's no-bueno.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's
going further in debt by that, and if you can't have dollar, that's why everybody wants the dollar because it pays off a lot of bills. Whereas if you're taking in somebody else's currency, I got to take more of your junk, and nobody's trading Yuan. Who's asking for Yuan? Nobody's. If all these countries are thinking about it and nobody's doing it, who's getting Yuan?
Well, watch this. Watch this.
Yuan should be 1-to-1 with the dollar, right? If everybody's
no. It's not. It's not. That's too simple. It's the Yuan is, as you mentioned all the time, it's like 3% of trade. Yada yada yada. Okay, sure. But you got Putin endorsing it. So we know China and Russia's doing major transactions. They've been doing it for several years now amongst themselves. And then, of course, with Brazil president coming out recently saying, why are we using, everything but the dollar? So they're now accepting the Yuan. And all the BRICS partners, all the Belt and Road Initiative partners, they're using the Yuan in some capacity or going to. So it's not there yet, but the plan appears to be in place for it to be there one day. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's a part of their plan. We can sit up. I mean, I think we can sit up here and cheer on the dollar as all we want because it's our currency, but it's their problem. But they're trying to work on things to make sure that it's going to become our problem, not theirs at some point in the future. But hey, man, let me get out of here. Let me get off this phone, man. I appreciate you as always.
No, it can't be done. Thank you, brother. Have a good day.
Be good, my friend.
Bye.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We will live to see another day, Lord willing. Anyway, wanted to check in. We're about 40 minutes or so. So yeah, as I mentioned, trying to condense things down and get on when I can. So that's why, if we go live, make sure you call in, let your voice be heard, share your thoughts, and try to inform the community of what you're seeing in your neck of the woods, man. That's what it's all about. This is the People's Talk Show. So at a talk show if you can't talk to people. So everybody, be blessed, be safe. Appreciate you for hanging out with me. And if you haven't, on the way out, hit that thumbs up button. And if you found any value here, take this, share it, invite more people to the community so we can find out and keep people plugged into what's going on and continue to encourage people to get their weight up, because everything else, too many counterparty risk, and the risks are starting to spread, i.e. the bank contagion. So, all right, everybody, I will see you tomorrow, Lord willing. Peace. Or I might do an RTD quick take real quick. I feel like doing one. Anyway, peace.